Good evening, all. Here I am back again with another trade review. So today I took two trades. One was paper traded, that was silver, and the other was on my live account, TopStepX, which was a 1 hour loss. So I'm going to talk through both trades, why I got into it, my targets, and how I process it forward. So, off the back of this being the first week of market open for New Year, I was very cautious about coming into the markets purely because there would be a lack of volatility before New York due to recent economical, macroeconomical releases in the market, especially to do with Trump, Venezuela, etc. Coming into this trade, I had quite a lot of opinions of where the market could go. However, I derived my trading setup purely from the macro fundamentals, which were increased GDP growth by consumer spending. This is a very bullish news release and a very bullish ideation for the markets because it shows increased value of US products and exports. Because since I'm trading a US market today, this is why I got into the trade. So as soon as I had my macro fundamental analysis sorted, I then looked to find bullish or long setups to reflect my trading ideas. As you can see from over here, coming to the markets, I scaled into the 15-minute time frames, and I saw there was a 15-minute demand zone, which created a strong bearish leg breaking structure here. From here, once I had the zone marked out, to find a better entry and to mitigate my risk, I moved into the 5-minute time frame. From here, I identified a very valid 5-minute zone inside the overall 15-minute zone. Here showed a massive area of bullish support to come long, where off of this first entry I didn't take as I was late to enter it due to setting my risk correctly. So since I saw this breakout happen, I then set a limit order on the apex of this red box being the 5-minute zone. Set my stops just below the 5-minute demand zone. For my targets, I was looking at targeting a 5-minute supply zone here. I was looking at targeting 50% of the supply zone, which, as you can see, would have hit. However, due to my lack of in-depth analysis of higher time frame candles, as you can see, price came down, whipped me out here, huge reversal to the upside, and eventually hit my targets on New York Open. This was a very valid setup. Once I had this loss, I was done for the day. I will show you this live as well that I've taken it. The reason why I like this trade quite a lot was because we had clear structure here, bullish structure. We had no reason to look for shorts, especially from a macro perspective as well. My biggest work on going forwards is using these higher time frames to understand where liquidity and areas of interest are and what I should be covering. For this trade, I risked 8 micros on this, which, if I'm not mistaken, is $10 a tick. Next time, I will risk slightly less and look to cover slightly more. This gives it the trade more breathing room to play out even more. Aside from that, I maintain my psychology by, once I had this loss, I was done for the day and that was it. However, I'm not fussed about it purely because my setup, my trade setup, my entry and my macro fundamental perspective was correct, as you can see, because price played out very nicely. This was the first trade I took this part of the year on my live account. If I just show you on Top Step, okay, as you can see, if we go to performance stats, here is the trade here. Okay, this one here was because I mistakenly left my limit order when I was taking profits. I left this on the table once I've been stopped out. Silly mistake by me, which is why I'm more red today. However, it's only a 1 hour loss from the actual trade itself. I'm not too fussed about it. So going forwards, I will look to decrease my contract slightly to give more breathing room. However, my stop placement in theory is quite valid. This was just a very small step in the right direction. As you can see, on a larger scale, I was correct. I actually entered this trade off of the 3 minute time frame. Once I scaled down, and I was using the 3 minute time frame to farm my exit points. My first exit point to take contracts off was a 1 to 3. When we hit a 1 to 3, I was going to take off 5 contracts. Once we hit about 1 to 6, I was going to take off another 2. And from there, I was going to let the rest run to my final target, which would have been here. Okay. So I was looking to risk 100. This would have made 1.1 thousand. It's unfortunate, but it's how the game goes. My next trade was silver. This trade I paper traded this morning. It was nothing too shabby, to be honest. The trade was quite simply on the where was it? Sorry. On the 3 minute time frame. Yeah, here it was. Okay, sorry about that. On the 3 minute time frame, we had a lovely sell before a strong buy. Swept liquidity here. From here, I then scaled into the 1 minute time frame once I had my demand zone correct. Now I'm looking for price to retrace 50% of the zone. Didn't quite get it here, but we got it here. And then from here, I was simply looking for price to close above the zone, give me a retest to enter there, stop below the lows, and then target the next valid higher time frame zone, which was this box here. This was the supply zone I was targeting off of the demand, and as you can see, this played out quite nicely. I have to stress, I paper traded this trade here. This was not a trade taken on my XFA account at all. Okay, so go figure from there. This was valid, so that was a valid paper win here. This was a valid loss on my XFA, my live account. It is what it is. Follow the rules. It's a very small step in the right direction. I'm just going again tomorrow. As I said again, I trade very mechanically, very strategically, and very subjectively as well. So I do allow myself quite a lot of heavy risk with small stops for a reason, because in my opinion, with this, the way I trade, wide stops aren't necessary if you find the right areas to be long or short. And that is all she wrote for today. Thank you very much for listening. This was just a minus loss in the road for me. It is what it is, but if I stick to my strategy, then I'll get there in the end. Any questions, leave them in the comments below. Thank you very much for your time, and see you tomorrow for the next one. Thank you. Goodbye.